So today we'll be getting into some stories about the pitch for Roman's faction member, big return at Money in the Bank, and a backstage story about Aaliyah and Murphy's old storyline. Today's question of the day is a fun one, and that question is, you have the choice to add one WWE superstar to Roman Reigns' faction. Who is it and why? Let us know your thoughts on who would fit right in and be a perfect addition to the group. Sticking on that same topic, let's get into the story about a non-family member actually joining Roman's group. This was apparently a pitch that a lot of people, even Jimmy and Jay themselves, really loved. The pitch came from Buddy Murphy. Murphy had something good going by being Seth Rollins' right-hand man for a while, and everyone thought that this alignment with the Mysterio family would also be great for Murphy. But unfortunately, things didn't work out, and he was later released. Murphy did try to get a few things going though, and pitched several ideas. One of his ideas was to be this member for Roman's faction that worked for him and did things for the group, but wasn't directly part of Roman's inner circle. Murphy explained the rejected pitch while speaking with Chris Van Vliet. I had this really cool story idea and I pitched it to Heyman, who loved it. I even mentioned it to the Usos, who loved it. It was basically to get me as not a part of the bloodline, but to be an associate of Paul Heyman. I don't take orders from Roman Reigns, but I do his bidding because Heyman asked me to do so. It was like a sub-story on the side of Heyman. And I'd be like a Judge Dredd. So I was going to be a mixture, Big Boss Man, Judge Dredd for Heyman. Heyman loved it, and I ended up having a conversation with Hunter, Triple H, while he was at a SmackDown taping, and just mentioned it to him that I pitched this idea to Heyman. Triple H loved it. We'll see where that goes, and I understand it needs to go through a particular ranking, get it approved by Vince. So this really was a great idea, and everyone seemed to be behind it. Triple H loved it, Jimmy and Jay loved it, but it looks like the idea couldn't get approved where it really matters, and that's of course Vince McMahon's desk. Everyone can love your idea, but if the chairman isn't fully on board, that could be a problem for your idea. But in this case, it would have been an interesting idea to see played out. Paul Heyman is obviously a highly influential character. He's known for getting behind superstars, serving as their managers, and more. You go back a few years ago, and he was managing a lot of superstars at the time. He had Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, Curtis Axel, Cesaro, and more. So it makes sense that a superstar like Murphy would still be working under Paul Heyman, trying to elevate themselves, and that's where this story would have started off at. Murphy is technically working for Roman Reigns, but it's not like he's sitting in the room, chatting it up with Roman and taking orders like that. Maybe Murphy would have been required to wait outside the room. Roman would have given his orders to Heyman, Heyman passes it down to Murphy, and Murphy gets it done. That seems to be the general idea Murphy was going after, not a direct member of Roman's faction, but sort of like an extended member. Which makes sense because obviously Roman, to this point, hasn't added someone outside of his family to his inner circle. So it makes sense for Roman to be a bit skeptical about Murphy's true intentions, at least at first, and that's why he allows Murphy to work for him, but from a distance. Don't let him get too close. And who knows what else could have happened with this same story. Maybe Murphy starts off as this distant extended member of the faction, but maybe he gains Roman's trust over time. Maybe Roman takes a look at how great he was as Seth's right-hand man and all the things that he did, that it convinces Roman to let Murphy get a bit closer to the entire operation. Then from there, maybe it would have gotten to the point where Murphy actually could have been a credible challenger for Roman, maybe turn on Roman in a big moment. And Roman is furious with himself because he knows he should have trusted his initial gut feeling and not let Murphy get too close. Something along those lines could have been the payoff for that story. Maybe this entire experience really makes Roman shut the door on the rest of the locker room and turn things up even more. Maybe Roman even questions Heyman and asks him if he put Murphy up to this. The Murphy element really could have opened the door to some twists and even more drama for Roman's arc. That wasn't the only thing Murphy discussed with Chris. He also talked about the Aaliyah Mysterio storyline. Aaliyah and Murphy were paired up as a couple on screen, but what felt a little off to the fans and even Murphy himself was the age gap. Aaliyah was 19, Murphy was 32. Murphy opened up about the storyline and admitted to being really uncomfortable with it. He had this to say: "I wasn't comfortable kissing Aaliyah. I did that because it was my job, and it was going to create more drama in the story. Originally, there was no kiss scripted. They, the producers, went and they talked to Vince about something. They come back and they pitch it to me, but they are kind of like weird. Then they say, and then you kiss her. I start laughing. But then they're like, no, we are serious. I look at the other producer and he just nodded his head. I'm like, no way. How did you come back with this? My whole thing was I had to play it very carefully. I said to them, I'm not going to express feelings to her. I can't pursue her. She has to pursue me. This was because of the age difference. You don't make it any easier when you use my birthday as the message. So now you've given them, fans, the information of how old is she? How old is she? What? I think them saying happy birthday basically just outed that." So Murphy was of course referencing when they revealed on Raw that Aaliyah had direct messaged Murphy to wish him a happy birthday. Murphy believes that made things a bit more strange, because they literally made the fans aware of the age difference. So it seems like he was dealing with it, but the kiss is where Murphy couldn't believe that they were serious. Murphy also said that they went to Aaliyah and Rey Mysterio first about it before they came to him, but nothing really happened after that big moment because the story was dropped. We'll have to see if Aaliyah will ever be reintroduced to WWE television sometime in the future. Money in the Bank is finally here, and it will be the first normal pay-per-view with a capacity crowd once again. Lots of great matches are already on the card, but something that is starting to gain some hype is the last mystery spot for the women's Money in the Bank match. Who will take that final spot? Well, let's start off with what's probably going to be the most popular guess, and that's Becky Lynch. Could Becky Lynch return here, win the Money in the Bank, and just like that, she's back on television? Sure, it's a possibility, never say never, but some reports out there seem to be hinting at the final spot going over to Sonya Deville. Sonya has been a WWE official for the entire year so far, but hasn't competed since last summer, so technically this would be a big return. This is just a rumor right now. Everyone knows that they change plans almost hourly, so this basically means nothing, but if it is true, it'll be interesting to see how she puts herself into the match. Has this been part of her agenda the whole time? Has this been her plan? Pick the perfect spot to insert herself in, and if she does that, it'll make her problems with Liv Morgan even worse. Liv is all over Sonya, and getting upset of Sonya abusing her power already as it is. So if Sonya inserts herself into the match, this may push things even further with Liv Morgan, and maybe lead to a match there as well. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.